That is that they require very little effort and sometimes they occur faster than we want. For example, ideas like stereotyping. We can't really control whether we stereotype or not. For example, if you're walking in the dark late at night and you see like a black person coming to you, your first thought would be, ooh, I have to cross the street, ooh, this is dangerous, right? That impulsive thought cannot be controlled. Later on, what you can control is like, wait a minute, I'm kind of at a safe neighborhood, the person's dressed up, there's really no need to fear. So the thoughtful process could kind of overcompensate for that, but still the initial unconscious process still kind of hits us really quickly. Secondly, sometimes mental processes are conflicting. That's another Freudian idea, that sometimes we want something and also hate something at the same time. Again, in the research, we have found that mental processes is often in conflict in our brains, that we have multiple ideas and desires at the same time. So that's interesting. Number 3 is that our early experiences are integral to personality development. So Freud was very interested in how the first couple years is really integral to the child's psychosexual development, right? The mother, the breastfeeding, the toilet training, the in the gentle phase where they attach, in the phallic stage where they attach to the mother, so on and so forth. So those early experiences really determine what we become. And again, in developmental studies, they kind of show that, yeah, there's some importance in kind of early developmental experience. Finally, mental representation influences psychological symptoms. That is to say, in Freudian idea, we talked about metaphors and symbols, and they're really just the way that our brain conceives of ideas. How do they represent themselves in our brain? And so sometimes when the mental illness symptoms come up, they actually do take form in how our brain represents those situations. Just like how, not as fantastical as Freud's, but a lot of mental illness we could see has some form of mental representation. We'll talk about that more in next class, where we talk about, in two lessons, 2 chapters, we're going to be talking about psychological abnormalities, abnormal psychology. Okay, so that's all I prepared for Freud, so let's move on to some other